How's it going? Welcome to the channel. My name is Ryan, and today we're going to be taking a look at another super fun Ruby deck that uses Robinhood to get some free actions out on the board, allowing us to play a bunch of things for free, as well as always keep the board tempo in our favor. If you guys are new to the channel, please subscribe so you don't miss future deck lists like this. The deck list, what you'll see is we have a couple different Robinhoods here in the deck. First off, we've got the 1-cost Robinhood. This will allow us a great turn 1 play, and then on turn 3 we're going to be shifting into the Floodborn 5-cost Robinhood to get one of those big early singers out on the board as soon as possible. The main star of the deck is going to be the new 4-cost Robinhood from Shimmering Skies. This is going to allow us to quickly go through our deck, playing free actions whenever we quest with him, allowing us to get a lot more value from our control that we're using with the Steel combo. And then to get a little bit of the passive lore, we do have 4 copies of Flynn Rider Frenemy, as well as Sisu and Bolden Warrior. If we can get these on the board in turn 2, turn 3, we'll just passively be getting that 3 lore every turn, as long as our opponent has a significant amount of cards in their hand. Another way we're getting passive lore in this game is going to be the fill card. Every time we play a hero, we're going to get 1 lore. It's basically Steel's version of the Merlin Goat, but it'll be every time we play one of these characters, we're getting a free lore, which is definitely something nice to have just in our back pocket. The second shift line that we're running in this deck is going to be an Aladdin shift line. Not only are we running Aladdin Brave Rescuer for that item removal, but we're going to be running the Heroic Outlaw from set 1, just as a way to get a little bit extra lore from attacking and keep our opponent's lore in check with that lore drain potential. Now, some of the key actions that we have in this deck are going to be Fan the Flames to attack with our Aladdin and with our Robinhood Champion of Sherwood as often as possible. If we can get multiple attacks and banishments with these cards, we can get anywhere from 2 to 4 lore depending on the situation. Especially with Aladdin, if he's able to attack twice in 1 turn, that's a 8 lore swing, doing -4 to your opponent, +4 to you. So that's a really good card to get with our Robinhood questing, playing it for free. We're also running just a standard Steel damage control package with your Babooms, Let the Storm Rage On, Strength of the Raging Fire, and then Along Came Zeus, and Grab Your Sword. We'll be running with 4 copies of Whole New World, just to get through our deck a little bit more, give us a lot of card draw to get to the cards we need. And then something else that you don't typically see is going to be the Sing Together card, A Pirate's Life, allowing us to subtract 2 lore from our opponent, as well as gain 2 lore. And when you quest with Robinhood, you can play this for free because it is at that 6-cost threshold, giving you just another way to get that passive lore while we're doing our Robinhood shenanigans. Let me know what you think about the deck list in the comments below. Let's go right into Inktable and see how it plays against some of the top meta decks. Alright, so first matchup, we're going to be going up against SteelSong, and here we have our opening hand before Mulligan. We like that we have a Flynn Rider. I want to get rid of as many actions as possible just to allow us to have them with our Robinhood later in the game. We don't have the shift line for Aladdin, so we'll get rid of him. And we'll just send those cards away and see what we get. Unfortunately, we do draw into the Aladdin, so we could have made use to it, but that's fine. We don't have a 1-drop here, so unfortunately, I think I'm going to go ahead and ink the fill. That way we can get a Flynn Rider out on 2, Aladdin out on 3, and then Robinhood on 4. Daisy's going to send a Pirate's Life to the bottom of the deck, which is not the worst thing in the world. We get Fan the Flames very early, which is very nice, to keep our Robinhood just a little bit safe. And then after he quests, he can actually play another one of these songs, so he can double up on his usability per turn. We'll ink the Maui and get our Flynn onto the board. Daisy's going to quest again. Hopefully we get a character. We do this time in Sisu, which is a great turn 3 play. And they play Pete, which fortunately for us, we're not looking to play an action quite yet. Since we have a different turn 3 play now, we will ink Aladdin and play Sisu. And then let's just put a damage onto Daisy so that we can deal with it next turn. Also next turn, we're going to get our Robinhood onto the board. And then we're going to start cleaning up the board every single turn with that amazing ability that Robinhood has. They play Naveen, but they don't have any songs in their deck or in their hand to play it yet. Let's go ahead and sing Let the Storm Rage On with our Sisu. We'll get rid of the Daisy to draw a card. Now we can ink let's ink Flynn, and we can play a Robinhood, and we'll just pass it here. They've got some good singers on the board, so they draw into any of their powerful control songs or their whole new worlds. We're going to be in a little bit of trouble. They draw into a Let the Storm Rage On, and then get that free play with Naveen. So our Sisu does, unfortunately, have to go into the discard. So to start off, we want to actually just quest with Robinhood, see if we get any songs for free. We don't, so all those characters go into the discard. We're going to ink our Robinhood, and then I think I need to play Fan the Flames to ready the Robinhood, and then he can sing Long Came Zeus. Get rid of one of these Naveens, and then we can actually play another Robinhood just to have even more free action possibilities. They throw a damage onto our Robinhood and then get rid of them with the Cinderella. Play the Rapunzel to get a heal in. Now we can quest with Robinhood. Let's see if we can get a good action here. We get a whole new world, which unfortunately I would have liked to play the other Robinhood we had in hand. We do get one back though, which is not the worst thing in the world. Let's ink the Sisu, and then we can actually just play Baboom, get rid of Naveen. Now let's play Aladdin just to get a little bit more board pressure, and we'll pass it from there. The danger with this deck, especially with the whole new worlds, is you're going to run through your deck really, really fast. They do play a Stout-Hearted Cinderella with that resist, which is going to change the math tremendously, unfortunately. So let's go ahead and use our actions just in case we draw into another whole new world. I think first up what I want to do is play Sisu, and then we can play Strength of the Raging Fire. That'll put 1 damage onto Cinderella. We'll sing Long Came Zeus with Robinhood to get 3 damage onto Cinderella, and then we'll challenge with Aladdin to get her off the board, and then we can pass. We still need to answer this Rapunzel, which our Sisu has more than enough, or it used to have more than enough strength, but they get a lot of free play with Naveen. Luckily, we do draw into a Maui, who will take out Rapunzel, and then we can just pass it here. They get a Rooster in play, and they quest up to probably 18 with this Queen. So if we can't get the Rooster off the board, they're going to win this game. And we draw into another Robinhood. We'll ink 1. I think we need to sing Whole New World here with Maui. And we need some good removal here. We get Brawl, which can take out a Rooster. And another Brawl that can take out a Daisy. And unfortunately, we can't take out the Naveen, meaning we're going to lose this matchup against SteelSong. Let's go ahead and load it up against a different matchup and see if it fares a little bit better. All right, and next up we have a matchup against the Amber Amethyst Hyper Aggro. This time on our draw we get 3 Flynns, which we definitely don't need. We will put our actions back to the deck and see what we draw now. Still get quite a few actions, which might not be the end of the world because we can sing them and get rid of some of these hyper aggressive characters that much quicker. We'll get rid of probably Phil here and just pass it on. They're going to get some early questing with that Lilo. We can't answer it until next turn, unfortunately. And then they play just some classic 1-drops from Amethyst. Let's go ahead and ink again. Let's get rid of probably the Aladdin in this case, just because we're not going to get to turn 7 to play him. We'll play the Flynn, and then next turn we can start taking out like the Lilo, as long as they don't have a bodyguard. And if they do, we can still play Let the Storm Rage On or Brawl to get rid of it. Piglet comes onto the board, which is another big threat, questing for 3. So what we can do here now is, let's ink the Brawl. We can use Storm Rage On to target Piglet, get him off the field, draw a card. And then Flynn can challenge into Lilo. Now we have the card advantage. They can draw cards with the ones that they have on the board, and they'll put a Daisy onto the field. So I wish I kept that Brawl. But I think we're still in a pretty good spot here. Let's ink the Pirate's Life, and then we can get our, or just to keep them locked at 10, I'm just gonna Long Came Zeus the Daisy. And to keep them out of cards, Let's just get rid of the Magic Broom. They play a Maleficent, which we can tackle with our Baboom. So let's ink a Fill. Let's get rid of that Maleficent with Baboom, and we'll pass. That's the beauty of having Steel in this deck, is that we have so many low-cost removal spells. Now we draw into Fan the Flames, which will help if we get to 7 ink with Aladdin. In this case, though, I want to probably ink the Sisu since they don't have a lot of cards. Play the Robin Hood, and then we can Baboom the Wendy. That way, next turn we can quest with Robin Hood, get a free action, then we can Fan the Flames, and we can attack into Wendy to get her off the board. Alright, let's ink the Robin Hood. I don't want to risk Whole New World being the only card that I draw with the Robin Hood action. So what I might end up doing here is just play the Aladdin and then quest with Robin Hood, and let's see what we get. Okay, so we get a Strength of the Raging Fire, which is just as good, and we'll use that to take out Wendy. Now we don't even need Fan the Flames for this turn, and we can use Fan the Flames for Aladdin if they have multiple exerted characters on the board. We'll draw into a Maui here. And they get a Pascal. Aladdin, we're going to use him to get rid of the Chernabog, to minus lore from their side, get some lore on our end. Might as well do it again just to keep them more in check. Play a Pirate's Life, get us a little bit more equal, and then we can actually just play the Flynn Rider to almost guarantee we're going to shoot up in the lore total, getting that passive lore per turn, unless they can take out this Aladdin somehow. But let's see if we can get a usable action here with the Robin Hood quest. We don't, so we lose a couple characters, and we'll pass the turn. We're now getting that free card draw every single turn from the Amethyst Chromacron, which is pretty useful. They play a Merlin Goat, and now Pascal is evasive, so we can't challenge into him with Aladdin, unfortunately. We do have 4 or 5 lore on the board. Let's quest with Robin Hood, see if we can get a removal spell, and we get Grab Your Sword. So that'll take care of the Pascal. Then I think we can actually just quest with Aladdin, and we'll play the Maui just to guarantee we get the lore bonus from Flynn, and we can just pass it back to this hyper aggro deck that we kept in check. Really seeing the power of the Ruby Control comboed with the Steel Control, always having an answer for their small characters on the board, and they'll pass it back to us and we'll get the win there. Let's load up one more matchup. I think I want to play against the Cowbell deck to see if we have a chance to win a game against that. Alright, so we have it loaded up now against the Emerald Sapphire Cowbell deck. We're going to get rid of our actions here as always, and then probably get rid of Phil as well, just to try and draw a 1-drop card. We don't draw a 1-cost card, but we do have the 2-cost Baboom, and then we have the Aladdin into bigger Aladdin as well. So let's go ahead and ink a Pirate's Life, and we'll pass it. Next turn we can start making plays, depending on what they play. Unfortunately, they don't play a character, and they play 1 jump ahead, so Baboom's not going to be useful for us here as well, and we just get to ink and pass. We see the Hiram come down, so they get some extra card draw, which is perfect because we're going to ink a Maui and play a Sisu. And now our Sisu has 6 or 7 attack thanks to all the cards in their hand. They're going to play a lot of cards here now though. But if they quest with this Hiram, they'll be able to draw 2 cards, get us up to a 5, and it'll get off the board with the Baboom. So we can Baboom the Hiram, challenge with the Sisu, and that'll handle that. I'm going to ink probably the Robin Hood in this case, and get Flynn on the board. Just get us some extra passive lore per turn if we're able to keep the card advantage in their favor. They play a Cricky, which allows Tipo to take out Sisu, so that's kind of unfortunate. We'll ink the extra Flynn. Maui would be a very useful card to play right now, but they don't have anything exerted. We're not in danger of them getting a bunch of lore quickly, so we can keep Aladdin in our hand for now. I think what I actually want to play is just the Robin Hood, and we'll pass it back to them. Now they waste our turn basically by playing the Mother Knows Best. They can ink an additional time with Belle. They are almost at 10 ink as well, so very scary situation. They'll get there next turn. and we don't have our Robin Hood on the board yet for some easy removal. So we'll just have to play again, and we can challenge into Diablo. Hopefully whatever they draw is uninkable. Otherwise, they're going to be very ahead in the lore game. Actually challenge with Bell into Flynn, and they get the Clarabelle onto the field, giving them some extra card draw. This allows us to actually play Baboom to get rid of Bell, and then Maui to get rid of Cricky. And let's see what we pull with Robin Hood. We get a Whole New World and Fan the Flames. I think I'm okay on card draw for now, and I like having Robin Hood in my hand, so we might just Fan the Flames and keep our Robin Hood safe for another turn. Now, of course, they could bounce it because they do have the Emerald Bounce in their deck. Next turn, Maui can get rid of Clarabelle, and we draw another Whole New World anyway. So now let's play the Aladdin and quest with Robin Hood. Let's see what we get here for actions. We get Long Came Zeus, Pirate's Life, and a Whole New World. We have a Whole New World in our hand, so I don't need that. Let's get rid of the Cricky with Along Came Zeus, and we'll pass it back to them. Play another Clarabelle, but luckily we don't have many cards in our hand right now. But it makes it a little bit tricky for the Whole New World. We actually draw into another Along Came Zeus, so we can attack into the Diablo. Let's play the Along Came Zeus into Clarabelle. And then if we can pull another damage action here, we can get rid of it. We get a Storm Rage on, which is perfect, and we draw a card. We'll play that extra Robin Hood and we'll pass. To get rid of our Aladdin, give us some extra card draw with You're Welcome. Which honestly is pretty fine for me. We get Maui here, which I think what I want to end up doing is just inking the Maui and then playing Phil, playing Robin Hood to get the passive lore from him being a hero. Small Robin Hood can take out Diablo, and then the big Robin Hood can quest. And I think what I want to do is grab your sword. No, we're still pretty fine on card draw. So let's Storm Rage on into that Grammatala, get another card. Next turn we can play that Robin Hood and then play Whole New World. Unfortunately, they Under the Sea our entire board. Luckily, we can still get that Robin Hood out. And then we probably don't need Fan the Flames, although it could be pretty useful to double up on his lore gain per turn. But let's just have that more ink available on our next turn instead. They're going to let it go, the Robin Hood. Now, I think they more or less force our hand into a Whole New World unless we can pull a useful card here. Which we do. We get a Maui, allowing us to attack straight into the Grammatala, and we will... I don't like giving them a full hand of cards before us. They're gonna You're Welcome Maui, which is quite funny. Then we can actually ink a Aladdin, play both Robin Hood and Aladdin, and we'll pass it here. They get the small Clarabelle. We're going to be able to start questing. I really don't want to use Whole New World when they only have one card. Instead, we get Along Came Zeus and Grab Your Sword. Either one will take out the Clarabelle, and we can just pass. They put Aladdin into our Inkwell. We can shift Robin Hood thanks to the draw. Now we can quest for 2, getting us up to 17. This quest with Robin Hood will get us up to 19. Don't need to use any of the actions here, and we'll just pass. They don't have a play, meaning we can finally just quest with our Robin Hood and win the game. So a very close game. That Under the Sea was probably the scariest point of the game, especially when they had so much bounce, so much removal. But luckily we were able to deal with their Clarabelles pretty much on the turn that they entered play, meaning they only got the benefit from the card draw once. That does it for our deck review of the Ruby Steel Robin Hood actions. I think this is something that definitely has potential to thrive in certain scenarios. You definitely saw against SteelSong, they just had so many ways to answer our board and get ahead that we were never able to get in the flow of questing with Robin Hood, getting those free actions. So definitely a list that needs a little bit more refining. If you have any improvements that you could see in this deck, I know I've tried with the Donald Duck Pie Slinger over the Aladdin as well, but I like the ability to get that 8 lore swing if you fan the flames with Aladdin. Let me know what you think. If you've made it this far in the video, please give it a like. And again, thank you so much for your continued support. I'll catch you guys next time with another deck list video for Shimmering Skies. See ya!